You should receive a little message. You can just click OK. That will be great. Just waiting for some more people to come in. So while I'm doing that, while we're just waiting a couple of seconds, can you pop in the chat for me where you're from, what consultant, what Thermomix you have, or which Thermomix you're wanting to either upgrade to or maybe purchase for the very first time? I'll just give you a couple of minutes to pop that in. Just going to mute everybody. We've got a lot registered for tonight, so that's awesome. We've got a TM5 customer from Rochester. Marin, welcome. Manangatang, Epsom. Lainey, how you going? I spoke to Lainey before. Bendigo. Oh my God, Anne, we've got one of your brand new customers, which is
Vera.
Yeah.
She may not have used her Thermi yet. I don't know. She only got it like last night.
Awesome. We've got some Sue from Stall. We've got Geelong. So we're coming from you all over the place, so which is absolutely fantastic. So I just want to introduce my team. As I said, we've got an amazing class tonight. We're doing the Grazing Box, Grazing Platter, entertaining ideas for you and how to get the most bang for your buck and to make some things in your Thermomix, which is going to be really quick and easy and cost effective. So towards the end of the class, I'm actually going to be putting a grazing box together and show you how you can build it with just a few ingredients. So that'll be sort of towards the end of the class. So that'll be good. But first of all, I want to introduce you to my wonderful team. So tonight we have Anne O'Connor. Anne is from Bendigo. Now, Anne comes to us with a wealth of knowledge. Anne's been around Thermomix for well over 10 years. Is that right, Anne?
I have, yeah.
You have. And how many Thermomixes have you put into families' benches?
Say that again, Tracy, sorry.
How many Thermomix have you added to people's... Oh, I've got a mute.
Around 650, I think.
What?
Okay.
The started.
Sorry, there you go. I just muted that part. How many was it? 650?
650, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. You've got a great great vibe around your community that you've built, and we're going to get some great knowledge from you tonight. So fantastic. And Melissa, Melissa's from Warwick. Now, Melissa comes with us with a wealth of information and knowledge. She's been with Thermomix for about 3 to 4 years, I think would it be, Melissa?
Yes.
Yep. She's got a growing family, kids at school, lots of snack ideas and ways to bulk out meals. So we're going to be showing you some of those things in some quick, easy dips tonight. So thanks, Melissa. You've also got a fantastic Thermomix community up in Warwick, and can't wait to see you in action tonight. I'm Tracy. I'm in Ararat. I'm a team leader that looks after sort of the Western region all the way up to Swan Hill and Mildura. We've got about 17 people in our team, and we're looking for new people to join us. And at the moment, you can actually earn your Thermomix for free with only 4 sales. So if you wanted some more information on that, hang around at the end and we can fill you in. I've been with Thermomix about 5 years. I've sold, I think, about 260 odd, 280 odd, as well as work full time. So, you know, it is something you can work around your family, that's for sure. Anyway, that's enough about us. We're going to get straight into it. I'm just going to remove our spotlights and so we can get on to Melissa. Now, you're first up. What are you making tonight?
I was just going to start a salami flour just while we've got people coming in still from the waiting room, Trace. So I've just got a 10's day tomorrow, a little intimate 6-person one. So I'm actually using quite a small opening on my glass, but you can vary it for how much salami you want to fit on your platter. And all you need to do is fold your piece of salami in half and just dangle it over the edge of the rim there. And then the next one you overlap about halfway around. If you imagine like the petals of a rose. And that is all you have to do to make a salami flour. You just keep repeating that until the central hole is more or less filled and you can't squeeze any more salami in.
Wow, that's
work your way around the glass. So during the evening, I'll keep working on that, and we'll show you that at the end. So the first dip I'm going to be making is the capsicum and sun-dried tomato dip. Well, don't turn off. After some idle time, if it's not in use, your Thermomix will turn off. Not if it's in active cooking, but if it's just sitting there quietly. Having some technical glitches here. Sorry, Trace.
That always happens.
I'm not sure. Here we go. So I've actually got excited about the grazing theme, and I popped a few things on my weekly planner for some ideas. So I had pear paste, sun-dried tomatoes, chicken and cheddar meatballs, but I've got the capsicum dip here. So we just start cook. 30 grams of Parmesan cheese, crust removed, cut into pieces 3 centimetres. Use the 3 centimetre instruction, sorry team. So yeah, just your Parmesan cheese. I've already pre-weighed that, sorry. I should have teared that out. Next, 1 garlic clove. Got rid of my chopping board because I didn't think I'd need it. We'll put this upside down. So with garlic, if you just trim the ends off and then give it a bang with the flat side of your knife, it'll bust the skin open and just make it easier to peel.
And that also bruises the, instead of chopping, it actually bruises the garlic. Bruises the garlic.
Next step, we're going to pop the measuring cup on. So the lid always goes on the machine. So the lid always goes on the machine, and it's just the accessory that varies on the top. So measuring cup if you don't want anything to come out. Sometimes the simmering basket if you do want to let some steam and things escape. So we pop the measuring cap in. Next, and it's going to cut for 1 second at speed 9. So one of the tips is to give your dial a really good flick, and it will generally catch at the right speed. Around your 1 second's gone before you get your dial there. So just a quick flick around.
This is one in our house. We make a lot. We make all the time. It's beautiful.
Sorry. That was 10 seconds. I was reading upside down incorrectly. Okay, so scrape down the sides of the bowl with your spatula. And you can see how fine that Parmesan is now, just for that 10 seconds of chopping. So scrape that down. Next, 100 grams of sun-dried tomatoes. Next, half a red capsicum seeded. More or less cut into quarters those. 120 grams of unsalted cashews. I have gone a little bit over because I just had a few left in the container that I thought I'd just pop in. 20 grams of olive oil. Might just take the lid off because it's a bit slow. Oops. Next, 10 grams of white vinegar. Whoops. Sorry, I've left that in my shopping bag too.
That's okay. It's real life. We're normally going back and forth to the pantry. That's what we do.
And next, insert the measuring cup back into the mixing bowl. So always the lid on, and the accessory will popping into the measuring cup. Next, and that's actually chosen to use the turbo auto technique, and so it's already preset, and it's so it says turn speed selected 5 to 7 times until you get the consistency that you want. So I'll do 3. So I'll take that off now. That was about 4, and depending on how chunky or find you'd like it, you could go a little bit further.
So that's 4 seconds.
That was 4 of the quick turbos, Trace.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would probably go maybe 2 more.
Yep.
And
that's, isn't that the beauty of being able to cook from scratch? You can, if you like a fine texture, you can do that, or you can leave it chunky. It's really up to yourself, which is fantastic.
So I will dip back into that. I don't know, it's actually finished. I know I can still go back. I thought I might have been out of the recipe. So yeah, because I do want to go back, I've just hit the back arrow here and I'm going to pop the lid on and do it 2 more times. Yep. Yep, sorry. Or maybe 1 more time. It's actually gone quite a lot finer with those 2 extra turbo blitzes. So I'll grab my serving dish.
It'll still taste good, Melissa.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, this is one of my favourites actually.
What I do with that is it makes quite a bit of dip. So often there's if there's a bit left over, I'll add some lemon juice and olive oil to it and make a dressing.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
What would you serve that on, Anne?
I put it through a couscous salad.
Oh, yum.
Yeah.
So I've just made that like a smaller ramekin. That's probably half a cup, I'd say, and then I've still got all this.
Yeah.
Still inside the bowl. The next one we're going to get going is just some high heat onions. Philly cheese is your friend. If you take that, it'll mix and match with quite a few different options. So again, just back to menu, back to my week, and I've popped the sort of caramelized onions in here and just start cooking. So it's saying you're about to start a new recipe. Are you happy to click the one you're in? Yep.
Oh, you can come in.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Someone's just, I've got to mute.
No worries. So first step is 20 grams of oil. I've actually already popped that in. We were going to start with this recipe, but I snuck in a couple of other jobs. Next, 400 to 500 grams of brown onion cut into wedges 3 to 4 centimetres. Hit here if it's not quite on 0. Perhaps you've taken the lid off or you've had the measuring cup in or something. So that's a little bit over. I might take that out just because it's a little bit precise with the high heat function, just in terms of what it will recognise. So I've gone with 480 grams there. So this time we're going to place the splash guard onto the mixing bowl lid to prevent splashing. So again, lid always goes on, and this time the accessory it's asking for is what we call the splash guard for when you're using high heat. And done. That's actually going to simmer away for saute away for 20 minutes or so. So I'll get straight to the top table when we get some sizzle happening, so you can hear how the new high heat in the TM6 works.
Yeah, and that's a great on Cookie Do. While we're just here, Melissa, there's a great collection called High Heat Basics, which has got a lot of caramelized zucchini, onions, mushrooms, all those sorts of things. So check out that collection on Cookie Do, because you could actually put any of those things together with some Philly that Melissa's going to do a bit later on, and actually make your own dips or spreads. A bit of prosciutto, a bit of salmon on the top to go inside these grazing platters, which are absolutely.
It's already started to sizzle, Trace. Sorry.
Oh, awesome! Not take long, does it?
I'll bring my computer over and see how we go.
Okay.
Are you getting any of that?
No, not really.
Can't really hear it.
No.
It's definitely crack-a-lacking.
Just think of a fry pan. That's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, thank you. We'll come back to you. So with that capsicum dip, how much do you think it made, roughly? Where's the size of your container?
Good question. I'd say like 200 grams.
Yep.
Had a guess. I probably should have weighed it. I could have done that.
Okay. So when we look about cost effectiveness, it's probably 50% of the cost of buying a 150 tiny little tub, which is full of nasties. So it's definitely a great option. That's for sure.
And I just find the convenience, Trace, often in those busy times like your AFL Grand Final or Christmas, often the favourite ones are gone.
Yeah.
Most of that stuff I had on hand in the cupboard as well. So
Yeah.
just leave it up at
But they taste so much better too. Anyway, thanks, Mel. We'll pop back to you later on. Guess what? It's my turn. And I want to know, has anyone made pate in their Thermomix? Because tonight I'm going to show you a really quick and easy mushroom pate. Now, this recipe is absolutely delicious. If you want me to make chicken liver or something, I'm not your girl for that. No way. No way. So just got to let someone else.
Yes, you can. I took it off mute. Oh.
Betty, we're just going to mute you, Betty, unless you want to have chat.
No, we'll mute.
Thank you. There we go. Awesome. I'll let Hayley ride that for now. Okay. So as you can see in my Thermomix, I've put all my recipes in a meal plan that we're doing tonight, so I could go and do a quick shopping list. And I've got the mushroom pate here. So literally, for you people that haven't had a Thermomix or haven't seen one, it's all guided cooking, which means it's step by step. As you've seen Melissa do, it's just hit next and it tells you exactly what to do. But just remember, it is guided, like you're not locked in hard with your ingredients and things. But I will say, when you first get your Thermomix, try your recipes as they are until you get to know a little bit better. So the first thing we need to do is pop in some bread. So 30 grams of bread, just broken down, it's fine. We're going to pop that in. Oh, I forgot the onion. I might need some onions. I'll just chop up. It's asking for 20 grams of onion as well. So all that's in this recipe is, do you want my knife? Look at it. It's an absolute ripper. It's actually available on the mix shop. There's two of them, I think, isn't there? Two pairing up. Yeah.
That's sharp as, Tracy, you be careful.
Yeah, they're absolutely fantastic. So it just wants 20 grams. Now, for this recipe, I'm just using your normal brown onion. If you wanted it a little bit sweet, a little bit sweeter, put in some red onion. It won't matter. Or whatever you've actually got, it's fine. It's asking for some salt. So we've got bread, onion, salt, everything we have in our pantry every day. Insert measuring cup. And we're just going to mill that down on turbo for 2 seconds. It's asking me to pop that in a bowl and set aside. Let's do that. I told you every single step of the way. Check this out. 2-second onions, not bad, is it? Tell you what, it beats grating them, that's for sure. I don't think I've grated an onion. I actually chopped an onion by hand for the 5 or 6 years I've had a Thermomix. So there's no sore onion eyes for me, which is good. Okay, so that's just come out of our bowl like so. Next, it's asking for 50 grams of softened butter. Now, be careful when you're taking your bowl out and putting it back in that you tear back the scales. We want to make sure they come back to 0. So we're not overdoing our way. Yep, 50. Insert measuring cup again, and it's just going to melt this down for about a minute. We're just going to see how that goes. So within this recipe, it does ask for particular types of mushrooms. Now, feel free to use whatever mushroom you like. I'm pretty cost effective and I just love sliced mushrooms. So I've literally just bought a punnet of those, 200 grams, and that'll do the whole pate. Please get what you like. Sometimes you can buy in, say, like a mixed pack of different types of mushrooms in them. They're actually really good for this recipe as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to cook down the mushrooms in the butter, and then we're going to stir it through some billy. It's absolutely delicious. We made this at a class in Ballarat a couple of years ago. I probably wouldn't have even tried it. So this is what's great about these classes. We try things, we see them, and we think, oh, you know what, I'll actually do that. I'll actually try that. So Hayley's, oh yes, you're a veggie, you love mushrooms. I'm actually almost that way myself at the moment. So I'm loving all the fresh produce and stuff, which is awesome. So there's our butter, melted. Low bit on the bottom, don't have to worry about the saucepan. So we're going to throw in our mushrooms straight out of the pack. Insert measuring cup. And we're going to blitz that for 5 seconds on speed 5. So what the Thermomix has done, it has blended our beautiful melted butter in with our mushroom and chop them down. So you're going to see some nice chunky bits and you're going to see some smoother pieces, which is what you want in a pate. You want a few chunks and a bit of a smooth texture. So I'm just scraping down the sides of the bowl. When a recipe says to do that, you literally take your spatula and you're just pushing down the edges, just like so. It's just pushing all the ingredients back down to the plate. Insert measuring cup again, and we're going to cook this down for 5 minutes on speed 1. That's how simple it is. So it's similar to the onions, really, isn't it? Just puts it all down and cook it up together, and then we're going to show you how to blend it through with some filly and the bread in a little while. So any questions around pate? Has anyone done a chicken liver or something like that? I just want to have a look at the chat and see if we've got any questions. Let's have that. Beautiful. Let me see. Beautiful. Okay. So no questions. So Anne, we're coming over to say hello to you. You just, there you go.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Well, everybody, I am making a traditional hummus. So there's, in cookie dough, there's regular hummus and there's traditional hummus. You can use tinned chickpeas or you can buy them raw. They're super cheap. They're really, really cheap. And what you do is you soak them overnight in water with bicarb of soda, and it tells you that in this recipe. This is a really, really good recipe. And this is the recipe basically that I've made before cookie dough sort of ever got going, etc. And today I cooked up just the right amount of chickpeas because that actually happened to be what I have in my pantry. But normally I will cook up a big pot of them and then I'll freeze them and then I can bring them out. And the difference between using tinned chickpeas and chickpeas cooked from scratch can be quite a difference. And chickpeas vary from brand to brand to brand. And there's a little secret in this recipe that helps you get real good creaminess to it. And if you've never made this recipe, let me bring my camera in. Can you see that picture? Traditional hummus. And it's on cookie dough. This is so good. So let's start cooking. It says place a bowl on top of the lid and weigh in 250 grams of dried chickpeas. This is something I've done earlier. Then you add a teaspoon of bicarb of soda and then you cover them in water and soak them overnight. Then this morning, you rinse them and drain them and then add a litre of water, put your soaked chickpeas back in and you put the simmer basket on the lid to allow the steam to escape and you cook them for 40 minutes. And then when you've done that, this is what they look like. Generally, you'll see a whole lot of skins at the top. And I did, honestly, I actually picked some of those off, but it's fine to to have them in. So you drain your chickpeas, discard that water, and put your cooked chickpeas into the bowl. So here we go.
That's so quick and easy, isn't it?
It
I know it
is.
takes you 40 minutes, but you know, if you prepare this the day before, that 40-minute cook, the flavours are so worth it.
Yeah, and if you want to prepare a large amount, you do a big pot of them, and then you freeze them. And hummus is a guessing game because it's got a certain number of ingredients. It's like a tahini and garlic and lemon juice and salt in it and chickpeas, but you do it to your taste. And so the quantities are a guideline, and you just do it to your taste. So we're just going back, and it says to do this with your spatula in. So it's going to be for 40 seconds and speed 6.
Now you can see Anne using the spatula, and that's to help the ingredients stop any air bubbles, so the blades continue with milling and mixing all those chickpeas together. You'll find that you do this with a couple of recipes like Fruity Dream and a few others. It's just to keep the ingredients down on the blade without flicking up to the top of the bowl.
And then next, we're going to add 100 grams of lemon juice. Let me show you what this looks like. It beats the absolute bejesus out of those chickpeas. So we'll scrape that down, and then we'll add our lemon juice. Now it says 100 grams of lemon juice. So once, this is a little trick that I teach my new customers to do. You've got goop on your spatula. I use the rib to scrape it off, and there it goes. So tear off the scale, and lemons vary as well. So approximately 100 grams. I'm going to hold back a little bit because I will adjust the taste at the end. So we'll add in probably around 80 grams of lemon juice. These are my homegrown lemons. Now, I've got a brand new jar of tahini, and tahini has oil on the top of it. You can muck around and add your oil in if you want to, but what I do is I tip that oil out, and then I'll add it back in just to protect the tahini so it doesn't dry out in the fridge. So tip that out and then add in your 100 grams of tahini. Now, did you know you can make your own tahini? If my sister Colleen was on here tonight, she would be bereaving me because she makes her own tahini. And I'm the sister that buys it. And then 1 to 2 cloves of garlic. For me, it's always 2 cloves of garlic. In it goes. Beautiful. And then some salt to taste. So it recommends 1 to 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I will just hold back and probably just do 1 teaspoon to start. That's just me. And then you're to set this aside in the mixing bowl and cool it because remember we were cooking these. So we're going to ignore that, and we're going to mix again with the aid of the spatula. I love the fact that it just gives you all the instructions on the screen. Go, and then 20 seconds on speed 6.
So we've got some comments there around the tahini in the fridge. It lasts a very, very long time. Yeah, Hayley had hers in the fridge for 2 months and was still able to use it. So it lasts a very, very long time because there's, you know, it's all natural ingredients with a bit of the oil. So
We're not finished
wow.
yet. So once again, it's asking us to scrape it down. This makes a fair quantity. It really does. And now, going to do it again with the aid of a spatula.
I've just gone to Dr. Google, and tahini will last 5 to 6 months in the fridge. There you go. That's good. That's if you make it. So it's one of those items you can make, keep it there ready to go. A bit like your you know, your stock paste and things like that. They all last a long time in the fridge, or the freezer as well, which is awesome. I wish I was at Anne's house so I could actually taste this hummus, because I actually haven't made this recipe before. Has anyone else tried this one? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I know we go through a lot of hummus here, and I must say I have made it with the drained and tinned chickpea, but I might have to try this one, I think. Do a bulk batch of the chickpea, and then just pop them in the freezer so we can just quickly put it together when we need it. That's a great tip. Thanks, Anne.
It's looking really creamy. It's not quite there yet.
It looks as smooth as silk.
I know, but there's one more trick, and it asks to add 80 grams of ice cubes. So what gives it the creaminess is not olive oil, it's the water in it that makes it creamy. So just one moment while I go to the freezer. 80 grams of ice cubes that I prepared earlier. And once again, with the aid of your spatula,
Oh, I'd love to know how you go with that recipe tomorrow. Absolutely. Yeah, I've also used the tinned chickpeas. So lemons from mum, you can't get much better than that, can you? Like, that's awesome. Hope you get some lemon slice in there as well, which is another great thing you can add to a sweet savoury platter as well, all your slices and cakes and things. Yeah, Rose, so the blades are going, and Anne's still mixing with that spatula because it is made specifically so it won't go down and touch the blades. You can't do this technique with any other spatula. It must be with the spatula that comes with your Thermomix. Because it's got a collar, we'll get Anne to show you the collar in a little minute, which stops it going right down into the blade. So yeah, you just keep stirring it. It stops because it's a creamy texture. Sometimes when you're mixing, it can get an air pocket. So we want to reduce that risk so we can keep the food moving inside the bowl.
That is the silkiest, smoothest tahini, hummus in the world. Now, let me just taste it. So this is where you adjust it. If it needs more salt, it needs a little bit more lemon juice. It doesn't need any more salt. I put 1 teaspoon of salt in. That was sufficient. It needs a little bit more lemon juice.
So you're just going to mix that in, Anne?
Yep, just mix that in, just a tad more. Just a few seconds, it doesn't take long. This is just beautiful, this hummus.
I can tell you just love it. You just want to eat it, don't you?
I do. I love it. Oh, it is so good. It is so good.
Oh.
And it makes an absolute amazing amount. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour that on a plate, spread it out, spread some cumin and some paprika and some olive oil on it, and then I'm going to serve it with the lavash. So shall we just go straight into making the lavash?
Oh, yes, please. I just want some of that hummus now. I'm going to make it. I'm going to have to make it.
It is such a good recipe. It absolutely nails it. It's so creamy. Sometimes with tinned chickpeas, you'll get texture. And to help get rid of that texture, double the recipe. And the recipes never, the other ones never have ice cubes in them. Just throw, it was like a handful of ice cubes. Just, it says 80 grams, but it's a handful of ice cubes. Put it in, put your spatula in and just work it, and it's fantastic. Now, there is a recipe on Cookie Dough for lavash. So I'm just going to cancel this recipe. For those new owners, did you know that when you're in a recipe, I don't know if you can see my screen, you can click the 3 dots up the top, and then you can go back to the recipe detail and look at what's next, etc. Continue cooking, and then you can bring your scale up at any stage within the recipe. And then we're just going to cancel that recipe. And it asks us to check it. Go to my week. And there is a herb lavash recipe in Cookie Dough, but I make one from the recipe community. It's been around for a very long time, and it's simple. It's as cheap as chips to make. It really is. Now I printed it out. I will send this recipe to Tracy, and you can actually download it onto your machine from the recipe community. But I haven't done it because I had this printed version, and
you know what? I'm going to send an email, Anne, with all these recipes. So I'll go and find that one. And I bet you any money that is the most saved to cook-a-do recipe today.
All right. So with this recipe, you throw all the dry ingredients in. So we start off with our scale, and it's 250 grams of plain flour. Just one moment, I need to change my trays over. This is one tray. And here's my next one. So 250 grams of plain flour in, and a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of yeast, so just your regular dried yeast in, 2 sprigs of rosemary that you've stripped off, so fresh rosemary. If you haven't got fresh rosemary, you can use dried rosemary. It'll be fine. You can use dried mixed herbs if you want to. And then the recipe says 35 grams of sesame seeds. And then it's a mixture of sesame seeds and chia seeds. Okay, Annie doesn't do that. I just do about 22 grams of sesame seeds, and that's good. So you can do white sesames and black, or just white, which is what I've got today. So here we go, 24, sounds good. Have we got all the ingredients? It's always a good idea to check because I'm very good at leaving things out. All right, mix it for 5 seconds, speed 6. Close the scale, go to the house, set 5 seconds, and speed 6. The recipe actually says speed 9 for 10 seconds. I find that then that you can't tell that the rosemary is rosemary when you roll it out, okay? So I just do it for a short time. And now we're going to add 120 grams of warm water and 40 grams of olive oil. So back to the scale, 120 grams of warm water. Does anyone get nervous at adding water in on top of dry ingredients? Oops, we got 126. It'll be right. And then 40 grams of olive oil. When you're measuring an olive oil, always just stop a little bit before the end and wait for the scale to balance and correct. Now we put the lid on that and we mix it. So it's a quick mix, 6 seconds speed 5. Close the scale, go to the house. 6 seconds, speed 5 again. Open it up and have a look. Did you know that you can change the sound on your Thermomix as well? Which is such a good thing. Now this is one of my favourite spatulas. You can get them from the mix shop. So what I want, it's kind of beady. What I want to do is add that stuff from the top in so that we get all of it in. And now it's going to knead it for a minute and a half. So lid on, cross to our modes, turn it to the dough function, hit the dough function, put the timer on for 1 minute 30, hit that, and away we go. So while that's kneading, remember when a machine is kneading, you stay with it, okay? I'm going to set up the pasta roller because I've prepared a lot of dough beforehand, and we'll get on with that. Let's shift this out of the way.
Hi Trace, my onions actually finished sauteing away, so I thought I might just quickly jump in, if that's all right, to start my next steps.
Awesome.
So this is it at the moment, and there's just another step to go through. So we're just going to add some balsamic vinegar to that, which I grabbed out earlier and lost. 20 grams of balsamic. And this is another one that you can prepare ahead of time in a bulk batch. It's great on pizza, great, yeah, in the dip that we're making today. Just lots of uses for it. And a quarter of a teaspoon of salt, I think. Let me just have a look. Next, yeah, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. And then we're just going to stir that through with the spatula. I'll take it off the unit so we're not pushing down on the scales unnecessarily.
So Melissa, that's the caramelized onions, balsamic vinegar and salt. Yep.
And a little bit of oil at the start.
And oil, yeah. Easy.
Yep.
All pantry.
And this time, yeah. And this time it's asking for the simmering basket because it obviously wants some of that moisture to escape and thicken up a little bit more. Yeah. So I'll turn that on when I find my simmering basket. Sorry. This is the whoops, 3 and 5 one, but that'll do. And I'll get that going. So that's going to go for another 3 minutes, Trace.
Beautiful. Okay, thanks, Mel.
No worries.
Okay, and we might need you to unmute. I'll unmute you.
Got it, I think. All right. So that's our mix. And if you'd done it on speed 9, you still wouldn't be able to see that rosemary. So when I'm making like a short crust pastry, or a dough like this, often you get little beads, and when you go to tip it upside down and tip it out, it goes everywhere. So one of my little tips is to pull it all in around the blades. So it's sort of in a lump, tip it upside down, give it a serious whack, and then twist the daisy, and out it comes. So there's just a tiny little bit left in there. I can safely remove that. It's all gone without cutting myself on the blades. So this is our dough. It's beautiful. It now needs to rest for half an hour. So the instructions on the recipe tell you to roll it into a ball. Don't roll it into a log. And then if you haven't got these silicone mats, they are fantastic, and host a demo and you can get them for a discount or for free. So wrap that up, and it needs to rest for half an hour. But here's one I prepared earlier.
Love television.
I know. So here's my mix. You can add anything you like to this to add flavour. You can put just black pepper and salt. You can do rosemary, etc. So this is rested, and what we do is we take off a portion. What's this thing called, Tracy? It's the dough scraper.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thermomix have got green ones. I've had these for years, and I have 2 of them. I use them all the time. They're great. So take off a portion, roll it into a bit of a sausage, and start on the first setting on your pasta machine. If you don't have a pasta machine, roll it out between 2 pieces of baked paper, get it pretty thin. So I shape it sort of a little bit like that, and I don't force it, I just roll it and feed it through. And then I go from spacing 1 to spacing 5. And you can do these any shapes you like, but I've just gotten the habit of doing these sort of.
So is that, and so each time you put it through, you're going to the next.
Yeah, so I'm just changing it here. Now,
yeah.
It's sort of, until you've done it a bit, you don't know how far to go and how thin to make it. And I baked some earlier, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. Now, I'm going to bake them on this tray. Check out that scummy looking baking.
Well used.
Well, yeah, I think this mat would be 10 years old. And how much baking paper have I saved by using that? It's just amazing. So that's the gist of it. And then you can put rock salt on it. Salt flakes, or you can just grind some salt onto it. And then you, depending on your oven, and this is what they come out like. Now, I did 2 pieces and I rolled it to stage 6, thickness 6. So that's quite thin, and it overcooks. That's overcooked. But if you just do it to 5, that's perfect. And it's got a bit of sort of substance to it, but it's not too thick. It cooks easily, and it won't break in a dip when you're trying to scoop it out.
That looks great. So, Anne, will you break them down into bite-sized pieces?
Well, what I generally do is I made some smaller ones. You can break them in half, and then I put all different sizes of them in a container.
Yep.
And just serve it like that. Now, a packet of lavash at the Providore store will cost you $12. This mix hasn't even cost me $2. It's so cheap. It's just plain flour, some herbs, and a little bit of oil, and it's just nothing. Just absolutely nothing.
It's all in your pantry too, Anne.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the road to loving my Thermomix, it's all capital letters, and the TRTLT is her acronym, and she has lots of cracker recipes. If people could type in the chat where they get their cracker recipes from, she has a beautiful rosemary and salt recipe. She's got a lovely cheesy one. Making your own crackers are amazing. And you know those gourmet crackers with that cost like $4 to $6 a packet? You can make those as well. I might find that recipe that I use for that and give it to Tracy to pass on to you guys as well.
Yeah, a few people have made the seeded sheet crackers, which are fantastic.
Yes, they are so good.
And the cheese crackers, it's in the cheese ones. It's in with the tomato soup recipe.
Yeah, and Hayley said it'd be nice with cumin seeds. I agree.
Yeah. What was the temperature of your oven, Anne?
180.
Beautiful. That's easy.
Yeah, if you've got a really hot oven, if you're a Thermomix consultant like me, I've probably cooked in, I don't know, 800 ovens. None of them are true to temperature. They say, a customer says, oh, how long do I put that in for? And I go like, until it's cooked, okay?
Until you can smell it, pretty much. Beautiful.
Exactly. If it smells burnt, you've overdone it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. We'll come back to you a little bit later. Okay. Yeah. In the meantime, I'm going to finish off my mushroom pate. So I've got 2 bowls. I hope you've all got 2 bowls if you've got a Thermomix. If you don't have 2 bowls, I would recommend you stay close to your consultant over the next few months because you never know what come out. So there's my mushrooms cooked down. Delicious. Breadcrumbs added. And it just asks me to set that aside for 15 minutes, which I've done. Now we need to add 100 grams of cream cheese, half a teaspoon of grated nutmeg. Now, today was the first time that I've actually grated a nutmeg. It is not fun. I don't know why you couldn't use nutmeg powder, but anyway, we grated it. A teaspoon of lemon juice. So I didn't want to crack open a lemon for this, so I've just got some store-bought lemon juice. So I'm just going to measure in half a teaspoon, like that. Check out the colour of these. How beautiful. I just love them. They're nice and weighty too, so they're the measuring spoon from the mix shop. Some salt and pepper, 70 grams of butter. Once again, scales do all the work for us. They're in. Hit next. And it wants me to blend this on speed 5 for 20 seconds. Okay, scrape down the sides. You'll find that a lot in a lot of recipes, to scrape down the sides. Oh, wow. Should see this. That's what it looks like now. So smooth. I think we're gonna go again. It's asking for some parsley, 3 sprigs. So I'm just gonna rip off the tops and throw them in. You've got parsley growing at home. It's a lot cheaper than buying it at the supermarket, that's for sure. Insert measuring cup again. And speed 5 for 20 seconds.
There's a couple of people with raised hands, Trace, that might have a question. Faye, I don't know whether I can unmute, probably can't.
I just had a question, Tracy.
Yeah, go for it.
So where did you get your nutmeg from?
Just from the supermarket.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've got a bag. I'll give you some.
Yeah, that'd be good because I just said to Mum and Lisa I wouldn't even know where to get one from. So that's good. Is it where the spices are?
Yeah, in those, you know, those little bags that
Yep.
yeah, they got whole nutmegs.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I've seen the cinnamon. Okay. Yep. No, that's good. Thank you.
No worries. So this is our pate. It's beautiful and smooth. And you need to put that in the fridge to set. So I'm just going to pour it out into a little cup, and I'll tell you in a little while what I'm doing with these little cups. And I'll pour the rest into just a container. This makes a lot. This makes a lot. And pate is quite expensive as well. So these are some little cups. I'm going to tell you about these in a little while when I put my platter together. So I'm just going to put those aside for now. And I just want to show you a really quick recipe. Now, this is part of our demonstration recipes, and they're called Brazilian cheese puffs. So easy, so great for grazing platters, especially if you've got gluten-free people that can't have any kind of bread. You can use these as a dipping sauce instead of the lavash or something like that. So I'm just going to show you quickly how to do these. This is the quickest recipe. I love it. They're great with soups and all those sorts of things. We're literally going to be using our muffin pan. I've just preheated the oven for 220 and it's asking me for some parmesan. So just blocks like that. Throw it in, 70 grams. Insert the measuring cup. This is the beauty of 2 bowls. Don't even have to wash it. I'm going to mill that down. So we've just milled down our parmesan. Now, if you guys don't know, we have got an amazing addition coming to our Thermomix world. You can see that. I grate all my cheese. We're actually going to get a Thermomix cutter. So it can grate, slice, all this stuff sits in the top of your bowl. When that is released, won't be till early next year, I'm going to have an open house and we'll have one in Bendigo. We'll probably come up to Warragambeel as well, and we'll get you to have a look and see what you think about that. 160 of milk. I use 170, doesn't matter, it's all good. Some cooking oil, 60 grams. Because I put a bit of extra milk, I'm just going to lay off the oil, probably that 10 grams, because we don't want to get too much moisture in them. We still want them to cook well. And 1 egg, which I'll just grab out of the fridge. So I don't normally have all this ready, but anyway, so 1 egg. These are great with stews as well, which is really nice. It's asking for some arrowroot flour. Now this is, you just buy it in tubs like this. Tapioca flour, you can buy it in bulk. It's actually the same price whether you buy it in bulk or in these containers. I like the containers because it uses a full container. So it's just quick and easy, just throw a whole lot in, and some salt. Now, this is where you can add up the mix. If you wanted to, you can add in some different flavours. I'm going to throw in a little bit of the Malaysian spice mix, which I make from the Skinny Mixes collection. Absolutely delicious. And there's also some great spice mixes on Cookie Doo as well. Insert measuring cup, and we're just going to mix that for 20 seconds. this out. Who knows what these are? This, along with the Thermomix, will change your life. I'm going to show you why. Okay, I'm wanting to scrape the other sides first. I'm getting a bit excited. Scrape that down. And we're just going to go for another 5 seconds. Okay. That's how easy that is. That's the recipe done. Now, if you're entertaining little kids, they will love these because they're like little bread rolls they can hold in their hand. You can actually push the middle in and you can fill it with like a salmon mousse or the mushroom pate or any kind of dips at all, which is really good. Now, this is what we call a cupcake pen. Now, I use these for these puffs and I use them for cupcakes as well. Just going to put my funnel on the top, like so. I'm going to pour my mixture in. Have a look at the smoothness of this. Great for pancakes. And actually, little pancakes are also great for grazing platters as well, especially if you're doing a sweet grazing platter. Okay. So we just screw the lid on. Now I've got a mini muffin pan and I'm literally just going to pour in as I go, and it is absolutely no mess. I don't know about you, but when I do like cupcakes and stuff like that with a spoon, I make an absolute mess. I have lines going everywhere. But this is quick and easy. Can you see that all right? I'd love to know if you guys have got a cupcake pan, have used one, wished you had one. So this recipe will make up to about 30 of these little Brazilian cheese puffs. And I'll show you, they go in the oven now for about 15 minutes. And then I'll show you the finished product. So that's those. Has anyone seen these being made or had them at a demo? I'd love to know. Another tip you can do with these, if you've got a piece of chorizo or salami, you can actually set it in the middle before you cook it, and it'll toast beautifully as the puffs cook. It just adds another dimension and another flavour to your dish. So there they are. So I'm going to pop these in the oven and I'm going to go across to Melissa. Hi, Melissa. You just have to unmute yourself, doll.
G'day. So we'll start with our batch of caramelised onions. And Anne gave us the hint, if you like them a bit more caramelised, you can actually do another cook. So I'm just getting a message on my screen. Yeah, so they're your caramelised onions. Probably best to let those cool before you mix them with the Philly cheese. So I'll just set them aside and we probably won't prep that one like during this session. So here's our salami flour from earlier on. Just turn that over on the tray and wiggle it out, and voila.
Oh, wow, that looks awesome. Can I have that for my grazing box? Actually, I'm going to make one.
I'll virtually send it to you, Trace.
Yeah, I'm going to make one.
I ended up weighing our dips, about 360 grams, Trace, of the.
Oh, so that's like 2 tubs. That would be equivalent to probably 2 tubs that you buy in the supermarket for about $4.
Probably.
Yeah.
Just wanted to show you another one. I've been working on one of my friend's sweet chili dips. I'm trying to refine the recipe. If I get that done, I'll add it to the recipe community trays to send out as well.
Yeah.
But this one, basically you just add some tinned capsicum, sugar, vinegar, and a few herbs and spices until it's just sort of a pouring consistency. And this one looks really effective and is a big favourite. That's just
Oh, that's good.
but I digress. Back to our dips.
Yep.
So instead of doing the onion, because we're waiting for that to cool, I'm going to do the corn relish dip. Usually I buy this one at the supermarket. And I did try a recipe community one a while back, but it was quite salty. And I thought I'll jump on and see if anyone else has come up with another one. And there was one on there referencing the similar brand. So I did have a go at that today. And pretty happy with how that's turned out. So essentially it's about, it's 1-to-1, but you can vary it like to your tastes and things. So I have snipped off, taken a little bit of that Philly cheese to demo here. So I'm going to weigh this to see how much we've got now. Sorry. Any questions in the meantime while we're waking up?
I'm making my salami flour.
Oh, you've got some on hand? Great. Yeah, so easy. I couldn't believe when I saw the YouTube tutorial of how easy they were. So just popping on your scale, so swiping to our functions, grabbing the scales, and I have actually cut the block into about 3 centimetre cubes. There's about 188 grams there, so I'm just going to give them the equivalent of the corn relish dip, or corn relish at this stage. So tear it back down, and we're aiming for about 190. If you're just going to be watching something blitz, you don't need to do all the time, temperature, speed. You can actually just turn the blades on. That's handy if you're going to be just standing by watching. Oops, I've zipped right out. So just click on the blades. Don't go too fast. You'll find it all splatter and spread out all around the bowl. So probably around about, we'll see. I usually go by feeling nowadays. So it's about 3.5. I go to 4. So that was speed 4 for just 7 seconds. Deep. Probably we could be a little bit creamier, so I'll probably just go for another 5.
You can also add a little bit of milk if you wanted it a little bit more liquidy.
That'd be handy. Sometimes it's a bit thick.
Yeah.
I have had the Philly cheese out at room temperature just to aid with the blending. But and that's done, and so that's about the same with 360 grams too now.
So you probably made about $25 worth of dips for $10.
Probably less, Trace. But
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No worries. I'll pop them in on display, ready for our show.
Beautiful. Thank you. So what I'm going to do now, this class is going for a little bit longer than we anticipated, but anyway, I hope you're enjoying it. So I'm going to show you how to put one together. I love doing platters. We have platters for lunches sometimes. They're great just to throw out when you've got a few people coming. But if you're going to go somewhere and you want to take a grazing box, we have the absolute answer. We have this grazing box in the mix shop. It's timber. It's absolutely beautiful. It's got a clear lid. So also imagine filling this full of Christmas goodies that you've made as a gift. They get to keep the box for, you know, whatever they want to do as far as platters, and if they want to take sandwiches somewhere or anything like that. It's got a Perspex lid so you can see through it. It's not glass, won't break. Absolutely beautiful. And it's lovely and deep. So you can really fill this with some lovely goodies. So I'm going to show you how to put one together. Okay. So trivia nights. Yeah. Great idea. So what I like to do, I'm going to line my box first. So I've just ripped off some baking paper and I'm just going to line the sides just because we're going to have ham and beans in there and I don't want any of the grease to get into my box. So that's it there. Now, when you're doing any kind of grazing tables, boxes or anything like that, you need to start with the big items first. So if you're doing a table and you want some different levels, get a little stand or a box or even a casserole dish and then put your tablecloth over the top. So you've got different heights and things. When you're doing a grazing box, obviously we don't need to worry about that. Okay, so the big items going first. So what I've got here, I've got some camembert. Now, with the camembert, you can, there's a beautiful recipe that does a steamed camembert, absolutely beautiful. You could use that. So I'm just taking it out and I'm going to be placing it just sort of off center in my box there. Now, this is Melissa's salami flour that I've just made. Check this out. Well packed up. Oh my God, I've never done one of those. I'm so excited. So I want everyone to show me their salami flowers over the weekend. So I'm actually putting that over to the side. Can you see, okay, what I'm doing? Might come this way. Okay, so I've got two of my bigger items in there. I'm just going to put the camera down. Okay, so I've got my salami flour on the side. I've got my cheese. Now, some of the other big items, I've actually got another cheese, which is like the almond cheese that you buy from the supermarket. That's fine. Just going to pop that in. Now, I found these little cups that I was talking to you about earlier. They are fantastic for dips and things. So I have filled one with hummus that we've made tonight, except mine was not with the proper chickpeas, which I'm going to make. One with the sun-dried tomato and capsicum, because we love that here as well. And I've got one with, oh, here it is, with my mushroom pate. So this is going to sit in the fridge for an hour and it's going to, I'm going to set it in this tub. So I'm just popping them straight in. So you can see all my big ticket items are in already. So it's a matter of backfilling that. So let's have a look at what else I've got. So I like to just do a whole heap of veggies. A lot of grazing boxes is all about colour and variety of texture. So we've got our smoothness in our dips. We've got the chunkiness in the sun-dried tomatoes. We've got a smooth cheese and we've got some crunch in our vegetables. So I've cut up some cabana. So all I do is I'm just filling gaps. So I'm just going to pop them there, mindful of what colours go with what. So the cabana's in between two of the cheeses. I'm going to pop the carrot because it's nice and bright and orange. And I've just done those in little sticks. They're going to be in the centre of our box. Now, as Anne mentioned before, you could put them in a little cup. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. They look very nice, actually. Just going to pop them in there. So once again, it gives it a little bit of height. We just got to be mindful that we can still put the lid on. Put that in there. We've got some cucumber. So I've done 2 lots of cucumber. I've done some slices, just like so, which our cutter will be able to do. So that's, I'm so excited. I can't wait for that to come in. So I'm literally just placing those in the corner. And I've also got some longer cucumber. They call them baby works or something. They're the long ones. I cut them in quarters. So I might see if they'll go in. I'll put those in there. So far, we have our main ingredients in our box. So what I'm going to do now is I need to backfill those spaces. So we've got some biscuits and things like that. So they're the next thing that I'm putting in there. So I have some lavash. So I've tried to get lots of things that we're making tonight. So they're just going on the side, like so. We've got some crostini sticks. Again, they can sit up in a cup or just lay them on the side. I'm just going to lay them on the side here to fill up the gaps near the beautiful salami flour that I just did. You know, I'm going to be making them all the time now. You've got me hooked, Melissa. So quick and easy, but delicious. I'm just going to sip that cheese up on us. Like so. Another thing we haven't talked about is quince paste. Now, you can buy quince paste in the supermarket if you want, and you can pay $45 a kilo, which is ridiculous. So when you go to buy these sorts of condiments, instead of having a look at the full price of the item, have a look at the per kilo. Oh my, you will be blown away. So that's a beautiful quince paste that I make every year. I keep it in my freezer. Anne makes hers in a slab and cuts them in squares. It's entirely up to you what you want to do. Just popping that in there. Okay, I'm just going to lift. You see what I've done so far? So now it's a matter of backfilling. Okay, so we need some more sticks. Put those in here. I've also got some fruit. I think it's good to mix it around a little bit to cater for lots of different people. It adds a different texture as well. So I'm going to put in a bunch of grapes right in the middle. And some red ones. The Brazilian cheese puffs are cooked. I'll get them out for you in a minute. I'm just going to have some red grapes as well. Going to throw in some strawberries. Now you can cut the strawberries if you like. I actually prefer to leave them whole because I find that they lose a lot of their firmness really, really quickly. And we've also got some cube cheese, just in little pieces like so, and they're just filling that other gap. Another great thing you can do, but you need to be mindful of who your audience is that you're going to be treating this box to, because if you put you can sprinkle some nuts in there or some chocolate bits. You just got to be mindful of allergies. So if you throw some nuts in, you're going to limit who can actually enjoy the rest of the box because it will contaminate the rest of the food. Put some dried apricots. I need to lift up my salami so you can see it in there. And we just want some normal crackers. And these are just the little rice crackers that you get in the supermarket. They're cheap as. I wouldn't bother making them, to be honest, but you know, if you want to, go for it. Just going to lift that up. I've just wrecked me salami flour, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Put those crackers in there. And I'm just going to build up the cheese. So I'm actually putting some of these under the cheese, just so it heightens it in the box. Okay. Oh my God. Put that aside for a minute. I'm just going to show you my Brazilian cheese puff. Check them out. They are delicious. And they literally just come off the thing. Now, I'll give you a tip. Don't be afraid to use boards as well for anything you want to make. Now, I said before that these Brazilian cheese puffs are really good for dips and things. What you need to do, the top of it, push down. So push it down inside itself and it becomes a little cup. Can you see that? These are great vol au vents for gluten-free people. You can make them in the bigger muffin pan so that they're actually bigger, and then you push down the front and you have little cups like that. So I'm just going to throw a few in my thing. Normally wait for them to cool down, but we're not going to do that today. Okay, just get this out of the way. What do you think? I'd love to know what you think.
It's beautiful, Tracy. Well done.
Yeah, that's quick and easy. Everything we made tonight, we've got our lavash, we've got our hummus, sun-dried tomatoes, we've got our pate. Now what I can do is I can literally put the lid on this. My cucumbers aren't going to work, are they? So let's take them out of there. Let's put the lid on with a little knife for our cheese. I don't know about you, but if someone walked up to me and said, I've got a present for you, I'd be very happy. 20 Dawson Street. I might be coming around, Betty. There you go. So the secret of a good platter, grazing box, whatever, is basically just throw in what you love. Make sure there's lots of colour and variety of texture, and put your big bits in first and then backfill. So I've clumped these together. I've seen grazing tables where it's all separate, where they, break it all down and don't have groups of different things. So it's up to you how you want to do it. This is just one idea. Your grazing boxes can be sweet things, like if you want to do little mini carrot cakes or lemon curd, little tarts, rum balls, bliss balls, all those sorts of things. There's lots and lots of different things you can add to a grazing table, grazing box. Lollies, supermarket sweets. You could do one all for crackers. I always make things for Christmas, and I am actually going to be doing this. I'm going to be putting them in the grazing boxes and giving them as gifts full of Christmas biscuits, fruitcake, all that sort of stuff. It's going to look amazing. Even if you wanted to do one, like if you're making sauces and things, you could put your little sauce bottles in these boxes and fill around it with little tubs of relish or anything like that. So hope you've enjoyed it. Let's have a look at what else we've got. So, and on your screen, Anne's got the lavash and the hummus. That looks absolutely amazing.
And look, it made that tub half full as well. So it's like, it's a massive amount that it makes. Now, I've got a couple of little tips. I used a lot of lemon today. So I chop up the skins and I freeze that. And then if I'm going to give myself, give my bowl an organic clean, I just throw in a big handful of that with a litre of water, blitz it, and then cook it for 15 minutes on Baroma, speed 4, and it will clean your bowl. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, Tracy was talking about Grazzini.
Yep.
These are rollers. Mine are a different colour to the mix-it shop because I've had mine for a long time. This little baby here makes triangular crackers. It is so cute. And then there's one more. They come in a set of 3. The mix-it shop ones are different colours. But this makes a rectangle cracker, but it docks it. It puts little holes in it. So you just run it.
Wow, that's easy.
Oh, they are so good. They're really worth getting, and they're good fun.
Awesome. So Melissa's got her dips and her salami flour. Mine looks really good in my little box, I must say. I'm pretty pleased with that. Yeah, you're on mute, Dal.
So I did end up blitzing up the onion with the Philly cheese as well. It's probably a little bit warm. It's a bit hasn't maintained its shape as well. Yeah,
but it'll reset itself. Yeah. Definitely. Well, that's our grazing box class tonight, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Anne and Melissa, for your tips and insight. Absolutely amazing. We had fantastic tips all through. So I hope everyone enjoyed tonight's session. We would love your feedback. Definitely want to know what you want to see, what our next class will be. Would you like online demonstrations that you can bring a couple of friends to so you can get your host rewards? Because I know these times, sometimes it's hard to get people into your own home. More than happy to do them online. You know, reach out to your consultant or one of the ladies on tonight, and we can definitely hook you up. So, yeah. Oh, Betty has wine. I'm going to 20 Dawson Street. That's awesome. Okay. Just remember, at the moment, we've got 40 months interest free, which finishes at midnight. Otherwise, it reverts back to 36 months interest free. If you'd like to earn your Thermomix, to me, that is the best option in the world. Please stay on for a little bit and we can have that conversation. If you've got any questions or whatever and want to just have a chat, come off mute and say g'day. But for now, I'm signing off and we'll just be hanging around here for a little bit. So come and say g'day.